Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen two people work in the same job, putting in the same hours, but one is making twice as much as the other? Have you ever wondered why one person climbs the ladder while another stays stuck on the first rung? It's not about time. It's not about luck. It's about value. You see, the world doesn't reward you for how many hours you put in. It rewards you for the difference you make. The same 24 hours are given to the millionaire and the man struggling to pay his bills. The difference is in how they use those hours. Some people trade their time for a paycheck, while others use their time to increase their value so their paycheck chases them. I once met a man who had been working in the same job for 15 years, earning just a little more than when he started. He was frustrated, felt stuck, and couldn't understand why things weren't improving. He told me, "I show up early, stay late, and work harder than anybody else." I said, "That's great, but what have you done to grow?" He looked at me puzzled. "Grow?" he asked. "I work hard." There's the problem. Hard work alone doesn't guarantee success. You can run 10 miles a day, but if you're running in circles, you're not getting anywhere. Effort without improvement just wears you out. The key is to focus on increasing your value. If you want to earn more, solve bigger problems. If you want to get promoted, become the person the company can't afford to lose. If you want to build wealth, learn skills that are in demand. It's not about finding a better job, it's about becoming a better version of yourself so opportunities naturally come to you. Think about a doctor, a lawyer, or an expert in any field. They don't get paid for the hours they work. They get paid for the knowledge and expertise they've built over time. They've invested in themselves, so the market rewards them accordingly. The same principle applies to every single person, no matter the industry. So the question isn't, how many hours should I work? The real question is, how can I become more valuable? Read the books, take the courses, develop the skills, and do the things most people won't do. Because when you do, you separate yourself from the crowd. The beautiful thing is when you focus on growth, your job gets better, your relationships improve, your confidence soars, and suddenly you're not chasing success. Success is chasing you. So don't just work harder, work smarter. Don't just put in hours, put in effort toward becoming a person of greater value, because when you do, you won't just make a living, you'll create a life worth living. Life has a simple rule. If you're not growing, you're falling behind. There's no standing still. The world moves forward, opportunities evolve, and the people who commit to growth rise with them. But those who refuse to change, who do the same thing year after year without improving, find themselves stuck, wondering why nothing ever gets better. I once met a man who told me, "I've been doing this job for 15 years and I should be further ahead by now." I asked him, "Have you been growing for 15 years, or have you just repeated the same year 15 times? He paused for a moment, then sighed, "I guess I've been doing the same thing over and over." And that right there is the difference between movement and progress. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're improving. Just because time passes doesn't mean you're growing. Look around. Every successful person you admire is the product of continuous growth. They didn't wake up one day with all the skills, knowledge, and confidence they have now. They worked at it. They read the books. They sought out mentors. They learned from mistakes. Growth is a decision, and it's one you have to make every single day. Think about a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. If you don't challenge it, it shrinks. The same is true for your mind, your skills, and your potential. If you don't push yourself, if you don't stretch beyond your comfort zone, you start to decline without even realizing it. And the worst part, you don't notice it happening until one day you wake up and wonder why everything feels the same, why opportunities seem scarce, and why life isn't as exciting as it used to be. But here's the good news. Growth is always within your control. You don't need permission to improve. You don't need a perfect plan to start. You just need the willingness to be better today than you were yesterday. Read something new. Try something uncomfortable. Surround yourself with people who challenge you. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by choice. Some people wait for the right time to change, but the truth is there is no right time. The perfect moment will never come. The best time to grow was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Because when you commit to growth, you don't just make progress, you open doors, create opportunities, and build a future that's bigger than anything you ever imagined. If you want life to get better, you have to get better. If you want more success, more opportunities, and more fulfillment, you have to invest in yourself. Because the truth is, you don't rise to the level of your wishes. You rise to the level of your growth. I once met a man who told me, I just need one big break and my life will change. I said, what if that break came today? Would you be ready? He looked at me confused. See, most people think success is about luck. But success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who prepare. And preparation starts with personal growth. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards skills. It rewards knowledge. It rewards people who take the time to develop themselves so that when an opportunity knocks, they don't just answer the door, they walk through it with confidence. That's why the most successful people in any field never stop learning. They read the books, they take the courses, they seek out mentors. They are always looking for ways to sharpen their minds, improve their abilities, and stretch beyond where they are. Now, some people say, I don't have time to read, or I can't afford to take a course. But let me ask you something. How much time do you spend watching TV, scrolling on your phone, doing things that don't add any value to your future? Because the truth is, it's not about having time, it's about making time. If something is important to you, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse. And let's talk about cost. Some people think personal development is expensive, but do you know what's really expensive? A lack of growth. Staying in the same place year after year, missing out on opportunities, and watching other people advance while you stay stuck, that costs far more than any book, course, or seminar ever could. Because the reality is, if you think learning is expensive, try ignorance. When you invest in yourself, everything around you improves. Your confidence grows, your income increases, your relationships become richer. Why? Because you become a person of greater value, and when you become more valuable, life rewards you in ways you never imagined. So the choice is yours. You can wish for a better life, or you can build one. You can hope for opportunities, or you can prepare for them. Because the more you invest in yourself, the more life will invest in you. Your income is a reflection of your personal growth. If you want to earn more, you have to become more. Money doesn't chase people, it chases value. And the truth is, your bank account will rarely exceed your level of personal development. I once met a man who said, I've been working hard for years, but I never seem to get ahead. I asked him, what have you done to grow in the last year? He thought for a moment and said, well, I've been busy with work. And there it was. He had been working hard on his job, but not on himself. He expected his income to grow without growing himself. But that's not how it works. You don't get paid for the hours you put in. You get paid for the value you bring to those hours. That's why two people can work the same job, put in the same effort, yet one earns double or triple what the other makes. It's not about time. It's about skill, knowledge, mindset, and the ability to solve bigger problems. If you want to increase your income, don't ask, how can I make more money? Ask, how can I become more valuable? Think about the highest paid professionals in the world: doctors, lawyers, business leaders. They don't get paid for showing up. They get paid for what they know and how they apply it. They spent years learning, growing, and developing themselves so that when the time came, they were ready to serve at the highest level. They didn't just wait for a raise. They became the kind of people companies and clients couldn't afford to ignore. Now, some people say, I'll start investing in myself once I start making more money, but that's backward thinking. You don't grow after you make more money. You make more money after you grow. If you want a promotion, develop the skills before the opportunity comes. If you want to start a business, study success before you take the leap. If you want financial freedom, learn how money works before you try to earn more of it. Growth comes first. Rewards come second. It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter how much money you're making right now. What matters is where you're going and how much you're willing to grow to get there. Because the moment you commit to becoming more, everything in your life, including your income, will begin to rise. So don't wait for the raise. Don't wait for the promotion. Start growing today, and the rewards will follow. You can't soar with eagles if you're spending all your time with turkeys. The people you surround yourself with have a direct impact on your mindset, your success, and your future. If you want to grow, if you want to become more, you need to be intentional about the company you keep. I once met a young man who told me he had big dreams. He wanted to start a business, become successful, and live a life of purpose. But he also told me the people around me don't believe in any of that. They tell me I'm wasting my time. I looked at him and said, son, you can't let people who have given up on their dreams talk you out of yours. The truth is, your environment shapes you more than you realize. Spend enough time around people who complain, and you'll find yourself complaining. Spend enough time around people who make excuses, and soon you'll have excuses for everything. But when you surround yourself with people who push you, challenge you, and believe in your potential, you'll start to rise to a higher level. Look at the most successful people in the world. They didn't get there alone. They had mentors, they had peers who inspired them, and they built relationships with people who made them think bigger. Success isn't just about what you know, it's also about who you allow to influence you. Now, this doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out of your life, but it does mean you need to be mindful of who you spend the most time with. Ask yourself, are the people around me helping me grow, or are they holding me back? Do they encourage me, or do they fill my mind with doubts and negativity? Because whether you realize it or not, the voices you listen to the most will shape the life you live. So if you want to reach new levels, start surrounding yourself with people who are already there. Find mentors, connect with high achievers, and build relationships with those who make you think bigger. Read the books written by successful people, listen to their advice, and learn from their experiences, because when you do, their mindset will start to become your mindset, and their success habits will start to become your success habits. You can't change where you came from, but you can change where you're going. And one of the fastest ways to grow is to surround yourself with people who lift you higher. Because when you do, you won't just dream bigger. There's a big difference between making a living and building a life. Too many people wake up every morning, go to a job they don't love, come home exhausted, and do it all over again the next day. They're earning a paycheck, but they're not true living. They're surviving, not thriving. But life is not meant to be just about paying bills and getting by. It's meant to be about purpose, growth, and fulfillment. I once met a man who told me, I've worked hard my whole life, but I feel like I have nothing to show for it. I asked him, have you been working to build a life or just working to make a living? He looked at me for a moment and said, I guess I've just been trying to get by. That right there is the problem so many people face. They put all their energy into their job, but they never put that same energy into themselves, their dreams, or their future. Now, don't get me wrong, work is important. It pays the bills, provides security, and gives us a sense of responsibility. But if all you're doing is working without growing, without building something meaningful, then you're missing the bigger picture. Because at the end of the day, success isn't just about money, it's about who you become in the process. Think about the most successful people you know. They don't just work jobs, they build lives. They invest in their passions, they develop their skills, and they chase goals that excite them. They understand that life isn't just about clocking in and out, it's about making an impact, creating something meaningful, and leaving a legacy. If you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life climbing a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. That's why personal growth matters. That's why developing yourself, learning new skills, and stepping out of your comfort zone is so important. Because when you grow, your life expands. When you challenge yourself, new opportunities appear. And when you commit to becoming the best version of yourself, you don't just survive, you thrive. So don't settle for just making a living. Build a life filled with purpose, passion, and growth. A life where you wake up excited, not just obligated. A life that doesn't just pay the bills, but fulfills your dreams. Because when you focus on growth, success isn't something you chase, it's something you attract. And that's the kind of life worth living. At the end of the day, your future is in your hands. Your job may give you a paycheck, but your growth will determine your true wealth. If you want more, you have to become more. If you want success, you have to prepare for it, because life doesn't give you what you wish for, it gives you what you work for. So commit to growing every day. Invest in yourself. Surround yourself with people who lift you higher, and never stop learning. Don't just work hard on your job, work even harder on yourself. Because when you do, success won't be something you chase, it will be something you attract. The best version of you is still ahead, and the future is yours to shape. Go after it with everything you've got. Good luck, and thank you.